Hello everyone, this is John from Western Maine Defensive Tactics, and for my first video of 2015, I'd like to talk about grip strength and how to develop it and how it relates to using big knives and Bowie knives and doing back cuts and things like that. Now, bear in mind that if you're new to using Bowie knives and you haven't previously done a grip strengthening program, any grip strengthening program that you find that you can do or device that you use is going to do nothing but help you. Because anything that adds forearm and grip strength is going to help you hold on to that knife and be more effective with it. That said, there are some methods that are a bit more well suited to using Bowie knives. Let's look at a few of those. This is the first one, and it pretty much needs no introduction. These are the Comtech snowballs made by Lazzi Sabo, I believe, and Jim Keating has been marketing these through Comtech for a number of years. I've been using them for a long time, and they're a really great tool. I like them. They come in various sizes, various levels of resistance, and what I like to do with these is I like to grab it, give it a good crush, pass it to my other hand, crush it, and I like to spread my fingers out while I'm not working that hand. And I'll do 50 or 100 or 250, however many I have time for, until my forearms burn and my hands feel like they're going to fall off. You'll give it a good solid crush every time, and that works great. Do it until, like I said, your forearms burn, your hands feel like you're going to fall off. Stop, get a little rest, and then go back at it. A great tool. I like these because they articulate a little bit more. They help me strengthen each individual finger in that grip, and they give flexible strength. Another option, and I don't have one, is one of the spring grip trainers like the Captains of Crush. Those are a bit higher end, but any of those trainers are going to be a pretty good tool. I don't like those as much as I like the snowballs, because they work the crush grip and the pinch grip well, but at the same time, it's not as valid for our purposes. We don't put that good crush. We don't put a crush grip on our Bowie knife and try to really crush that handle. We need, as bladesmen, we need to be able to have a bit more articulation and show a bit more finesse when we're thrusting and back cutting and snap cutting. We need to have more flexible strength, but still a solid grip on that knife. We don't want to lose it. We don't want to have it knocked out of our hand like an amateur, that sort of thing, during a back cut or something. And, well, a couple years ago, I thought certain aspects of my back cuts and thrust could use a little help, as far as they were good, but they weren't as good as I thought they should be as long as I've been doing this. So I decided that for a valid training method, I had to make myself a heavy trainer to add some resistance in those movements. So I made myself this. This is an 18-inch piece of 2-inch wide by 1/2-inch thick, flat, mild steel bar stock. It's nothing special. There's no mystery steel here. It's about, I believe it's 1018 mild steel. I just cut a Bowie knife shape out of it, put some thick handles on it, and added the guard. And that's it. This knife weighs about 4 pounds. And it's a really good way to train. I like to do abanicos with it to strengthen the muscles and tendons involved in turning that hand over. A motion that we use a lot with back cuts. I also like to thrust with it, and a fringe benefit of that, besides the endurance, is that if you extend this correctly, it'll reinforce good timing, the proper timing used with the Bowie knife. And of course, doing back cuts with it. I can't really do good back cuts here because I'll knock my shelf off here. But what I really liked about this one is the improvement between the improvement of the transition between my number 4 and my number 5. That really improved with this knife. And I've been working with this about 2 years now. It's a great trainer. I really find it very useful. Another thing I'll point out is that this grip on this knife isn't as slim and as friendly to my hand as, say, a real knife would be, even this big one. I left it big on purpose to make my hand and my fingers work harder to keep a grip on this in motion. But I wanted a little bit more resistance. So, last year, I made this. This is a 3-inch piece of 1/2-inch thick mild steel, 20 inches long. So it's got a 14-inch blade, 6-inch handle, and a guard. And this weighs 7 pounds. If you've been doing any kind of historical research, I know Norm Flanneman's book mentions it. something about Texans fighting in the Civil War, I believe, with 7-pound Bowie knives. Well, that's kind of a sensational story, but this is a 7-pound Bowie knife, and it's kind of a little beast. With this, I also like to do the abanicos and the thrusting and the back cut. Now, the back cut flow with this is a little bit more awkward than it is with a real knife or with a 4-pound trainer. But it really works and overtrains the muscles and the tendons and the connective tissue that make a good solid back cut possible. And once you've used this, and look at the handle on that, that's really big. You gotta grab a hold of it like you mean it. Once you've worked with this for a few months, this 4-pound knife doesn't seem so challenging. It's still a good exercise, but it's not quite so challenging. And once you've worked with both of them for several months, any knife you pick up, this is a 17-ounce knife, this knife is nothing. This is a feather in my hand, and I can thrust with it. I can snap cut with it. I can back cut with it with a plume and confidence. And I've really noticed a difference working live steel on the Pell after working with the heavy trainers, because the knife is, I had a pretty decent grip beforehand, but now it's a lot more solid. I get a lot more telling results, and my back cuts are stronger. And I really like what they've done. And I really highly recommend getting one. Now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make this yourself, because nobody markets these, to my knowledge. But that's no big deal. If you're a real serious student about the Bowie knife, and I'm assuming if you're watching this video you are, this is no big deal to make. Get a piece of a flat bar, however big you want it. You don't have to make it 4 pounds. You can make it a little bit lighter to kind of step up to it, and that's kind of a good thing to do. That's a wise thing to do. Just take a 4.5-inch grinder with some cutoff wheels, cut out your shape, slap some scrap wood handle scales on it, and use pins. I happen to use screws here. It doesn't make a difference. And then just take the edges off so it doesn't give you a bunch of splinters, and get out and work with it. You can add a guard, you can not. I like to put guards on mine because it adds a little bit of weight and makes it more realistic as far as being a good trainer. Invest a couple hours. You're going to make a trainer that you're going to be able to use for years, and you certainly won't wear it out. Again, make the handles nice and chunky to make your fingers work. Be careful when you initially start, because if you're not used to using knives in general, especially those back cuts, they can kind of sprain your wrist. And if you start whipping a 4-pound trainer around, say nothing of the 7-pound trainer around, and you're not conditioned to it, you won't be, of course, at first. You can really mess up your wrist and strain. Give yourself a strain in the forearm or something like that, and that'll set your training back weeks and months. And you don't want to do that. You want to stay live with the training. Also, frequency. If you're trying to build training, build up a base of strength, maybe 3 times a week. Then once you're happy with where you're at, move on to a maintenance plan. Once or twice a week, that sort of thing. If you're like me, you really want to get out there and be tempted to do this every damn day. Don't overtrain. Give your forearms the same amount of rest that you would any other muscle group that you're working. So, okay, I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Thanks a lot. And I hope this helps you out, maybe gives you some pointers and helps you out with your overall ability with the Bowie knife. You take care. I'll see you in the next one.